right, everybody, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Public Comments. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Shout out to every single one of you guys for tuning in to another episode. I'm excited for this episode. But before we get into that, Jordan, dímelo.
What's good, bro? How you been, bro? I got a shout out to you, Bondo. My boy is funded.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats, dude. How does
Thank
it
you,
feel,
bro.
man?
Dude, it feels great, dude. It feels good. It's like one of those things that, when people graduate college, they probably feel like a big relief that they don't have to go to school anymore. I didn't feel that, but I got the relief of getting a certificate,
Hey,
So that
hey.
was good. I hung it up on my wall like a proud little kid. So
Love it. Love it,
how,
dude.
how are you, bro? How was your trading week?
I was good. I didn't trade this week. I took the week off. I went out in the mountains, enjoyed some camping in like Guanella Pass. So I was chilling out in the mountains this week. It was beautiful. It was serene. But I'm ready to tack it back next week. So
Yeah, markets were a little bit choppy this week, man. I didn't take too many trades, but yeah, it was definitely not the best I would say setups, in my opinion, from what I look at, right?
dude, crazy. The dollar is so bullish right now. Like Euro USD is approaching one, like parity, like 1.0. And it hasn't been there since the inception of the Euro 2002.
Oh, that's a rabbit hole we can talk about in a little bit. Yeah,
For
I
sure.
like that. Sweet, man. So today's episode, I'm actually excited because, all the guests that we've had on here, both you and I have known them. So it's been kind of cool to know that we have a background, both us, but all three of us kind of can talk mutually. But in today's episode, we're actually bringing on somebody that I met 2016, 2017, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. And you would actually have no idea who it is. So it's cool. And before we brought him on here, he was like, yo, so what's the subject? What's the topic? I'm like, dude, we don't ever plan anything, like we just kind of go about it. We just record and we just kind of go through the conversation. I feel like it's the healthiest way to have a conversation. Is just a more natural. But to give everybody kind of a background, and Jordan, you yourself as well, today's guest is David Velez. So a little quick backstory on how I met David, right? So I started working at this place in the city called Endurance, and probably shout out to anybody listening that's still out there grinding in the trenches. So this guy, man, I remember like my first interaction with him, but I remember the first time I was like, this guy's a fucking beast. So we were on the phones, right? And we used to have to do these things called takeovers. When you couldn't close it, somebody would come to have you ever seen the movie Boiler Room, Jordan?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Good movie to watch, bro. They yell it's a stock market movie, right? And then whenever they need help like closing somebody, they get somebody on the phone, they need help closing somebody, they call Greco, right? Like that's kind of like the call for somebody to come help. Anyway, so we used to do these things called takeovers. When I couldn't close a customer, anybody couldn't close a customer, somebody would come sit in your chair, pick up the phone, and continue the conversation. And like they're just so suave with it, they're like super savages. And so this is the first time he came in, bro. I was like, David, I need help, bro. And he came, sat down in my chair, bro. And it was probably like a 10-15 minute conversation. And I literally learned how to be a really good salesman from this individual right here, right? Because just one of the things that he just like moves so persuasively, like he just moves so smoothly with his words, bro. Like it was just so cool to watch, right? And then over the years, obviously, I developed a really good relationship with him. We have mutual interests, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a bit, as far as like what our careers are, mentality, the way we think, I think, is the thing that kind of brought us more together. Not a lot of people think the way that all three of us here think. So it'll be a good, interesting conversation. But he's a hustler, bro. He's a man of faith. And I really respect the fact that, he shows an example for him and he's really looking to make a big impact in his community. So a little bit of background on him. David, what's going on, bro? How are you?
What's up? I appreciate the intro, bro. I'm over here looking for who this guy is you're talking about. But I definitely appreciate it. I do remember that. I totally forgot about. I used to do that for a while. Crazy times. Yeah, it was cool. Ironically, that you bring that up. I'm actually leaving the company.
Oh,
yeah, I've been there 10 years. July 7th made 10 years, and I'm going to a totally different field. But it lines up with what I feel like my purpose is and things I'm looking to accomplish, like you said, in the city. So making a shift but it's different. I'm excited. It does involve sales actually. So, I'm gonna use the little suave that you talk about.
Hey, celebrity soul.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. So did what actually let's start with this, bro.
yeah.
So that way Jordan can kind of get to know you a little bit and we can kind of cook up some questions here for you. But
Yeah.
tell us about you, bro. Who was high school David? What were you getting yourself into, bro?
Not good stuff. So high school David or high school D I was at Clemente High School my freshman year. I don't know if you guys are from the city, basically it's a good school, but it's a humble park, tons of gangs and violence and all that crazy stuff. Not to say that's because that has a great baseball program and all these good things. But me, I lean towards more the bad kids. I never did anything crazy. I just like to joke around, have a good time. So I was cool with everybody, but I would find myself getting in trouble or getting into situations because of the people I hung out around with. So it wasn't a good look. Just started getting into a lot of trouble. And then fast forward, my dad got me out of there, went to North Grand High School. Similar stuff, which is ironic. It all depends on the individual, really, is what I learned. But it wasn't as bad, I would say. So I did learn some good things. I met some cool people there. But my mindset at the time, I was still hustling, still finding ways to make money and just grinding it out. I remember I used to sell candy bars in high school, actually.
Laced with CBD butter?
This was pre all this crazy stuff they do now. It was straight up regular, just candy. Brought my bag full of candy. Not to say I didn't hustle other things, but whatever. I got into flipping phones too. Like I would just get used phones and just sell them to people. That was like towards the end of my high school year, and then just like 18, 19, 20 years old, just doing stuff like that. So I always had that hustler mindset. And it's funny that you bring this up, just high school, because I remember at North Grand High School, they had these development classes on Wednesdays. You could pick any class, bro. It was like non-traditional classes. There was these two guys who were entrepreneurs, and they were talking about making money online or doing something like that. I don't remember all the details. Again, I didn't really pay attention too much. I just remember talking about money. And I was like, there's another way to make money, and I don't have to like go to college or go down this traditional route. And I thought it was funny that they brought these people in. I'm sure they didn't even know what they were talking about because they're literally telling us to do the opposite of what your counselor and everyone at school tells you to do. And ever since then, I just had it in my head that I don't need to go to college. I can still educate myself, but there's multiple ways to make money, and it's unlimited. You can do whatever, traditional, not traditional, whatever it is. So that kind of stuck with me. I think it was my junior year, maybe. And yeah, I guess that's high school, Velez.
Nice. How did you get into like, so that was like your seed of like not necessarily taking that traditional route, which I mean, I didn't do that either. Jordan, he half-assed that journey.
Like most people, he did it like a year or two, and then you're lucky.
Oh no, bro! I did it like 4.5 years, and I dropped out a semester before I graduated.
Oh, you're wild! Yeah. I don't think I know that.
I was going to school to be an engineer, and then that's when I finally realized, dawned on me, like, holy shit, dude, I'm setting myself up to sit in an office the rest of my life. Like, I bailed on that. That's
another reason why I'm leaving Endurance.
Because of being in an office?
Yeah, I mean, we work remote. I've made it cool. Like, I go to coffee shops and people's houses and stuff, but I just want to be out in the community. I like to do community work and help people and stuff like that. But I also know it requires money too to make an impact. You can't just nonprofit is cool, that's fine, but I want to be the guy who funds the nonprofits. I don't want the government to control what I can and can't do with the money.
Yeah, so
that's my mindset. Is I want to be able to say, I want to do this with this. I want to talk about what I want to talk about and not be limited. I just hate being limited. It's my whole thing.
What was your first like entrepreneurship journey after high school?
Other than hustling, like official entrepreneur.
Yeah, like
so in I think I was 2010 or 11. I got a phone call from a girl. She said, "Hey, you looking for ways to make extra money?" I said, "Always," and biked it to a coffee shop. I didn't have a car at the time. They drew out this little business plan on a napkin. I was like, whatever. And they went over some stuff. They went over the potential which you can make. And I was like, all right, I'm doing this. Let's go. And, I learned about the products and how they did things. It was network marketing. I just learned a lot of different things. That didn't last too long, maybe like 2 years, maybe on and off. I would say my experience wasn't the greatest. And the group of people that I was with, there was something off about them. And the reason I say that is because a few years later, I kind of got reestablished with the same model, just a different organization and stuff like that, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So ever since that seed was planted, like that second seed, if you will, I was just like, I cannot work a traditional job for 40, 50 years. Now I've had my ups and downs and seasons and being in the mode, right? Or getting distracted or whatever. But that was my official, like, I looked at everything. I went to like some business meetings. I looked at the numbers and I was just like, this is crazy. How is not everyone doing this?
Yeah.
But then you realize there's personal development involved, people are involved, commitments. There's all these different things that are involved. But I know people that are doing great in different industries, whether it's network marketing or what you do, Armando. And I know these people personally. And so I know it's possible to make 6-7 figures and not, punching it out or be stuck to a desk. So just the fact that I know that, it always encourages me and gives me hope. So even though I'm not there yet.
Dude, that's a bar. I think it's so important. People don't necessarily realize that opportunities are freaking everywhere, but it's just the traditional, just like route of doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And then just like hopefully praying one day.
Well, you got to take a risk. That's the thing with network marketing is it's not guaranteed. There's nothing guaranteed in network marketing versus your job is like when you sign up for a job, they tell you, hey, you here Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you earn X. And that's like essentially guaranteed. It's not likely to be raised, but it's also not likely to be lowered. And I think with network marketing, it's different for people because there's no guarantee, it's all really on you. And that can be scary. But also I think if you have the right mindset, it's very liberating. Like you said, David, it's like, you don't want any limits. And I don't want any limits either. That's what attracts me to this space as well. So David, are you still involved in that same company that you switched to?
Yeah. It's just a different organization, group of people. I realized that you got to find the right people when you're working in business, whether you're starting traditional business or not, your board of directors or people that you're working close with. Relationships is everything, is what I learned. And so you want to get to know the people you're working with before you even get into business. So the approach that I've learned that I started to do recently is, do you like the person? Can you guys connect? Can you see yourself, doing a lifelong journey kind of like this with them? And so that's how I realized, all right, the last group, it was whatever things were. The funny thing is the girl quit like the next week. So now with all these people I don't know, I'm going to these conferences, I don't know anyone, but I was like, screw that, I don't really care. I'm not here for them. I'm trying to figure out what this thing is. How does it work? So even though for like a year I was with a whole bunch of people I didn't know, I just started to see some things. Long story short, those people are not even in business anymore. It's like a whole bunch of stupid stuff happened. But, I have like a spirit of discernment. So I kind of discern things. And so I just knew that something was off with these people, but I also wanted to like figure this thing out. So I just kind of pushed it through. But then I was in this program with the church at the time, and they were like saying, either you're all in or you're not. You can't do both. And I'm like, what? I was like, well, I'm already in this program. I already committed to this prior to you guys reaching out to me. So it just didn't work out. My dad ended up passing away. My girlfriend was crazy at the time. So it's like all these crazy variables happened all at the same time. So I ended up just fading away from it. But then like 3 years later, I got reintroduced to the opportunity. And the approach was very different. It was genuine. This person was very upfront with a lot of stuff. There was no surprises. And so I just appreciated that approach than the other one. Not to say that was bad or not. It's just my style.
Different. I think that, I love how you said like with discernment. I think that's such a powerful skill set to have if you're going to be an entrepreneur and be in business for yourself. And you're looking for opportunities and you're looking for people to work with, because let's be real, like not every opportunity is going to be all rainbows and sunshines. None of them are actually. Not every opportunity is going to be fruitful for you. So that discernment is so key. What are some of those things that you've learned along the way, David? What are some of the things that you now know as red flags? Like, what are some green flags? What are things that you look for when it comes to establishing business relationships?
So some things I look for is just accountability,
That's a good one.
does your actions line up with what you talk about? So if you say one thing, are you doing that same thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, for
Yeah.
example, I text Armando, I was like, yo, I don't know what happened yesterday. I got some crazy symptoms that I'm overcoming, but I was like, I said I'll be there. I'm gonna just, get my stuff freshen up and I'm gonna jump on the call because I said I was gonna do it. Um, so that's one thing that I look for. Um, I think trust is a big thing. Nowadays, it's very hard to trust people. But I think you got to kind of start with that approach and then allow them to give you a reason to not trust them. Everyone has it backwards these days, right? Not right out the gate, people don't trust you. It's like, well, I don't even know you. Like, imagine me jumping out, I'm like, wait, I don't know this Jordan guy. I'm not, I'm good. That's just, to me, that's weird. It's like, I'm already judging you just because I don't know you.
Yeah.
So I try to take a different approach. Hey, let's start out with trust, unless something else comes up, and then we'll go from there. I think patience is another one that I've learned. You have to be patient with the process and trust that you're going to get all the information you need along the way. You're going to learn things along the way. Nothing happens overnight. So I feel like people that are not patient with stuff, it's hard for them to follow through with anything, especially in business. Generally speaking, business, I know guys that it took them 10 years for them to get like real solid results. They might have made some money along the way. They might have had some, high moments, but most people aren't patient enough to see it through. And a lot of people quit. And the problem with quitting is that you got to start all the way back over again. It's like I don't know if you guys heard of this, the emotional cycle of change. Have you heard of that?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think
Oh,
so.
dude, I forgot what book I read it in. I think it's 12-week year or something like that. Anyways, it talks about the emotional cycle change, and most people stop at the valley of despair. The place where you're like, is this working? Is it quitting? This is dumb. I had all these negative experiences. I'm good. I'm gonna stop. Just like with working out or anything you do, you stop. But with working out, if you stop, you have to start back at 5 pounds or 20 pounds. You can't just jump at the 100 you were at that you were struggling with. So I feel like if you're not patient enough, you're just gonna keep going in circles in the beginning phase. You're never gonna get the true success that you're looking for.
Yeah, dude, that's bars, bro. Like these principles are so unique to business, but they're also very unique to just life itself, bro. It's like anything that you do, man, like any challenge that you face, these three things, Jordan and I did an episode on relationships. We talked about these things, right? Like trust, accountability is huge. I think it's so important. I think a lot of people fail because they don't have somebody to do it. For example, I'll give you a perfect example, bro. Like I started doing like this podcast probably like a year and a half ago, and I did like 6 or 7 episodes, and then I stopped. And then it's just like Jordan's accountability. And there probably would have been weeks where I'm just like, oh, I just won't do it. But because he's like, yo, what are we doing this week? It's like that accountability. It helps other people get better. It's like a push and pull thing, and patience, dude. I spell patience P-A-Y, P-A-Y. Patience gets you paid,
Patience
bro.
pays.
Patience
That's
gets you
good
paid.
stuff. I
It's
like
such
that.
it's a skill, dude, that is so difficult to learn. So difficult to learn because we live in such an instant gratification world
Yes.
that everybody wants everything so fast. Everybody wants everything so fast, Like it's ridiculous how just instant we live in the world that we live in. And I think that patience is a virtue. So now every time that I come across a situation that I have to be patient, dude, it's almost like fulfilling that I can be patient versus everybody else. People freaking out at the line at the freaking store or in traffic. At the drive, I see people at the drive-through, bro, like honking.
And it's already fast.
Yeah,
Drive-through is
Chick-fil-A drive-through, freaking swerving around.
that is the shortcut. And they're like, I want it to go faster. It's like, bro, you can't control that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People try to control things they can't control.
Ooh.
It's like, if you can't control it, you might as well make the best of the situation.
Yeah.
Traffic or anything in real life scenarios, like things that actually matters. Like, what can I control? Which I know always is my attitude and my actions. Right? I can control how I respond. I can control how I think about my actions and how I respond to things.
Yeah, that's major, bro. So was because the way that we think, I think, is a great majority part to do with personal development. Like I wasn't taught these things, you know, naturally. My parents didn't teach me this. My teachers didn't teach me this. It wasn't until I had mentors in business that led me to people like Jim Rohn, you know, people like Eric Thomas, people like Tony Robbins, you know, personal development books like Napoleon Hill, stuff like that. So was network marketing your introduction to personal development too? Because that's what it was for me. I believe that's what it was for you, right, Jordan?
Yep.
For sure. 100%. Okay, I would say yes, but what I realized when I started to see what these personal development books and resources were, I didn't even realize that I was in this program called Chicago Masters Commission. It's a leadership discipleship program. It's like Christian college with the church, but it was more focused on doing community work and helping the community and just like helping different cities and stuff like that. There was an education program that was associated with it, the books and stuff. I never took it serious. And when I started to get these books from business, I saw that they were the same books. And I was like, wow, how blind was I that I'm in this program? They're offering me the resources to help develop me, and I didn't take it serious. So, but yeah, I guess the first introduction was through business. And ironically, years later, that same program reached out to me and they asked me to be one of like the directors for the first year students and stuff like that and work with them. And I'm glad that I'm able to, because I've been telling them, hey, this is what I did. Don't do that. You're 19, 20, 21 years old. I'm going to tell you, you can fast forward your results if you take it serious now. I learned the hard way, but you don't have to be that. Like you can figure it out now. Whatever it is you do, ministry, business, or if you want to work, right? Because I don't think jobs are bad. I just think it's bad if you think that's the only way that you can make money.
Yeah.
If people want to work at a restaurant and, you know, be a waiter or waitress or be a barista, that's fine. If that's what you want to do and you know there's other options, go crazy because I need somebody to make my coffee anyways. Right? I don't want you to think that's the only way is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So be the best you in whatever it is that you do, really. But yeah.
Thanks. I think you touched on something really powerful there, like the ability to learn from other people's experience. And the smart person sees what somebody else does and realizes there's value in that, you know, and versus trying to figure it out. And I think like that ties back in another thing you said about trust, which I love you said, is that people have it backwards. You know, it's like when someone comes to help you, like a mentor or somebody's in a position where they're saying, hey, you should read this book. Hey, you should do this. People don't have that trust that they're willing to actually help them. It's like I think it's a pandemic or of like non-trust that people won't trust people when they want to help them. And it's like you said, I love how you said it. It's like for me, I look at it the same way with trust. It's like everyone has the same amount of trust. Like I trust everyone the same. The only thing you can do with my trust is lose it, you know? And it's like if more people had that attitude, I think it would be more beneficial to their own growth versus like having to build up the trust of somebody when someone presents you personal development, when someone presents you information, when someone applies those like teachings to you, it's like, don't take it personally, but like realize that these people are here to help you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just because I think social media has gotten people untrustworthy. Everybody's skeptical, man. Everybody's skeptical of everything. I don't remember who I heard this, right? You can be skeptical. It's okay to be skeptical, but you can't be broke and skeptical because broke and skeptical is not a
The
good
deadly duo. It's the deadly duo.
Not a good mix, man. Not a good mix. I tend to trust, you know, lightly everybody that I come across until they show you signs that you shouldn't trust them.
Right.
You know what I mean? I remember, David, you remember Cam, right?
Oh,
Yeah. He taught me this. He's like, I'm gonna tell you something, and he's like, you're the only person that I'm gonna tell. He's like, so if other people find out, I know that I can't trust you because you're the only person that knows. And so if other people know, I know that it'll be that you the one that told them. And I'm like, damn, bro, that's a fucking great way to like really test somebody's trust. Like, think about it, bro. If you tell somebody to something that only they know, and then you know for a fact that you only told that person, and then other people find out, that's like the ultimate like middle finger to the face, you
Right.
know?
That's tough. So what
It's
was it? No, I'm just playing.
I don't even remember what it was, bro, to be honest. It was a long time ago. But I don't I think I made it in my mind to forget about it so that I wouldn't tell other
So
people.
you
Bro,
was
that place at the time, bro, it was quite a toxic environment for a while.
oh, it was wild. It was like the Wild West, bro.
It was quite a toxic environment, bro. People were making a fuck ton of money and everybody was just banging each other and everybody was just getting drunk and high at the same
It's like
time.
a movie, bro. It's
I
like
s-
what movie is
Wolf of
that?
Wall Street.
yeah.
The where they make music and they're just like, oh dang. I would always refer to that environment like that movie, and I can't remember it.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was like a washed down version of Wolf of Wall Street, bro.
Bro, yeah, like sex, money, and drugs, literally.
Yeah, literally.
I don't know
Yeah,
how I stood there that long. It
yeah.
was
So for someone who wasn't there, like you kind of presented like it was fun, like dude, that sounds like, from the outside perspective, that sounds like it was a good time. But like, what made you guys kind of realize that that wasn't it for you guys? What was the toxicity? Like, how did it go bad?
Well, I got fired. So
twice.
no, the first time I quit, and then the second time I got fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time. Okay, so the first time the position I was in, the commissions were like they like bonered our commissions really nice.
Basically.
Like they dude like stupid. Like I got like a $10,000 check, one check in 2 weeks. So like they really steroid up our commissions, and then they took them away because they realized that we were basically like we were just eating that commission plan alive. So they were like, nope, you guys can't earn this much money. So they took it away. And I was pissed. I was dating this girl at the time. Remember Laura? D. I don't know if you remember her. Skinny Laura with glasses.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me all
I
this
was
because everybody was like all over the place.
everybody was with everybody, bro.
So you
Yeah.
didn't know
So
who was with who, like who was serious, who was not. It was like
yeah.
high school time. I don't even know, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was, bro. But anyway, so I was dating her, but like we were just kind of like off on the side, sneaky dating. It wasn't like a public thing. And then she was like, yeah, fuck that. Cause she had just got fired. She's like, fuck them. They can't do this. She was like influencing my thoughts. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Fuck them. So I went in there on Monday. So on Friday, they told us the commissions plans were changing. We had this conversation right on during the weekend. On Monday, I came in there. I sent an email to management. I was like, yeah, I don't like the way you guys did things. So I quit. So I just didn't even give my 2-week notice. I quit. And then I came back like, I don't know if it was a whole year later. I don't know. I can't remember if it was a whole year later. But then I worked there for like probably another year and a half, 2 years. And then yeah, they fired me.
We're already remote when you got fired, right?
Yeah.
Oh, because
It
I
was
was
more like, yeah, I don't know. I technically legally it was a firing, but like it was also bothly like a mutual, like I was already 1.5 foot out the door,
I remember now.
Yeah. Yeah. I was already like 1.5 feet out the door. So like, yeah, they fired me technically on paper, but like I was already like,
You were already doing your own thing. You weren't really at work. I remember because we were talking.
yeah, I was just not really about it anymore because I was just tired of doing it. But yeah, dude, it was a great experience. I made my first 6 figures there, bro. I met some cool ass people. Obviously, David, one of them. I met Cameron Griff. Shout out to Cam, bro. He taught me, like, he was the first exposure to me to the markets. Like, I told him, bro, like, I peeked up at his computer one day and he had TD Ameritrade up, and I was like, bro, I want to learn how to do that. Teach me that. So he was the first exposure to the markets for me.
Oh, nice.
Before even Mike. So I had quite a few crazy toxic experiences there. Yeah, it was a good time, bro. It was a great time. It was one of those, like, if you think of like an old school sales movie where it's literally like sex, drugs, and fucking money, like that's literally kind of what it was for a while.
It's corporate now, but
yeah,
just like new leadership, whatever. I only stood there because I've been there for a while and they were super lenient with me. Like, I can come in whenever I wanted. I leave whenever I wanted. For me, the flexibility and the money was easy because and they didn't care. Like literally, as long as the work was done,
Yeah.
nobody cared. So I'd come in strolling in like 10:30, 11, get yelled at. I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna get the Excel sheets done in no time. Relax. So I get it done in like 2 hours, and then I'm gone. And then I was just like goofing off all day. I'll leave, walk around downtown, come back. It was like crazy that we were working like this. That TL room we were in was crazy.
Man.
Wild times.
Yeah,
What
bro.
were you guys selling?
Uh,
I don't like saying it, bro.
I hate saying it because everyone makes fun of this, and there's memes
Everybody.
everywhere about it.
Everybody.
I'm not
Well,
there.
now you
anymore,
got
so
it.
Do we say it?
You ever got one of those calls where they're like, your extended warranty on your car has expired?
That was you guys.
Yeah.
Not us.
But
the
no.
other guys.
Yeah, that was the other guys, but we were taking the calls.
Right.
Okay.
So you know how like in network marketing, there's like the stigmas about like, oh, people do this. Okay, well, in car warranties, all those people who automatically call you in this automated message, that's not us. We're the real humans talking to people, like responding to online requests and stuff like that.
We were working for the number one, so that we were like the number one. Well, I don't know if they still are, but I'm sure they still are.
They bought out like companies and companies going crazy, but
yeah, dude, they were making. Dude, the margins on those things were stupid high, bro. Stupid high. So
you're talking the warranties, right?
Yeah.
Car warranties,
yeah.
Car warranties for cars. So yeah, I mean, good product, arguably. Good. There was good people, you know. I remember when I first started there. One of the, I'm not gonna say his name, but one of the like top guys, one of the guys that kind of started the whole thing, he was like, do whatever you have to do, say whatever you have to say to get the sale. If you fuck up, we'll clean it up later. I was like,
once you learn that, it's like, oh, all right, is game time.
It's like you can't do anything wrong. It's like,
the guys that'll fix it. There's like,
and then eventually, you know, 3-4 years down the road, they started like actually cleaning stuff up because, you know, over time you can't necessarily very lightly kind of like bullies, borderline scam people, you know. Yeah. So I'm telling you, it's a good learning experience, bro. Great learning experience.
Sounds like it.
But yeah, it definitely. So what new venture? Talk to me about what venture you're getting into now, David.
So
going
I'm
into
going to
sales.
be working for Oak Street Health Clinic.
Okay.
They gear towards the elderly, and so I'll be an outreach executive. And what I'll do is I will connect with the community, connect with community leaders, organizations, people, and stuff like that. And my goal is to schedule appointments, basically, for like lack of better words, appointments for them to get a better service for what they already have. So a lot of elderly people, they're like metal card or Medicaid or whatever it is that they're on, but they don't go to doctor visits. They don't do anything. They only go when it's an emergency. Well, they pay me to schedule them to go and get set up in the program with Oak Street Health. And the goal for the company is to generally make these people healthier. So statistically, when you're part of Oak Street Health, your visits to ER and the hospitals is 50% less than the average person in your age group or whatever. They have like dietary programs. They have, you know, things that they can do throughout the week. They offer different resources. They educate them on eating healthier, being more active. They check up on them weekly. They schedule appointments. They even pick them up from their house and take them to the clinic and stuff. So when I had these interviews, I sat down, I told them, because they actually reached out to me through Instagram, which is crazy. Because I usually post when I'm out and about at different outreach events or doing different, you know, passing out food or helping people, whatever. And one of my friends got promoted in the company. He's like, yeah, I've been watching your store for a little while now. And we're looking for people who generally care about other people and want to see them do better. And so that's how they reached out to me. And I told them, I said, do you guys really help people? Because when it comes to the medical industry and all this, I already have my own opinions. And I told him, I said, you know where I stand on a lot of this stuff. I'm not big on medicine. I lean more towards a natural route. I take a ton of vitamins, you know, I eat healthier. I'm not into all this other stuff. So I said, do you guys generally help people? And he broke down some numbers. He showed me some stuff, shared some stories. And I was like, oh, you guys are legit. Like, you generally like help people not be stuck on medicines or having to go to the ER a lot and stuff like that. And it's a cooling center in the summer, warming center in the winter. It's in low income areas and stuff. So I'll be working in Garfield Park area, basically the hood. But I grew up in those environments. So another thing they said was like, we need someone who can kind of relate and, you know, people on that level. And I just laughed. I'm like, that's hilarious. But that's what I'll be doing. So the income potential is ridiculous. I don't have time to get into details, but just scheduling people and getting them in and stuff like that is the go-to. So you have to build relationships with these people. There's a lot of community events that they have on their own that I'll be able to go to and just connect with them and stuff like that. So I'm excited. It kind of leans towards what I'm already doing and what I want to do. So I feel like this is just an outlet that I can use to either benefit them, help with other things that I got going on. So it gets me outside. I'm not stuck on my laptop all day. I'll be out in public in the city, you know, moving around and stuff like that. So I'm excited.
Nice. How do they feel about you leaving Endurance?
It's new leadership. I haven't told everyone. I only told it because I'm in HR now, actually. I didn't tell you. I moved into HR, so a whole new team. But I told them, I said, I was like, now that I'm leaving, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So I was like telling about people I didn't really like to talk to, work with. This was hard because I actually genuinely like working like with these people. I said, you guys are all cool people. The HR team is legit. I said that was a little challenging, but it's been 10 years. And what I'm gonna be doing now is I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. So they said if I wanted to come back, I can always come back. So I'm leaving on good terms.
That's good.
So the rest of the people, I'm gonna tell them on Monday, send an email or whatever.
Are you done on Monday, or are you putting your 2 weeks, or what?
My last day is Friday.
Okay.
So on the 18th, I started the new job.
Okay. Cool, bro. Congrats, bro. Sounds like it's definitely up your alley.
Yeah, it's good. Monday through Friday gig. Be able to use it to fund other things that I'm working on. So I like that. It's more where I'm already.
That's it, bro. You're so smart, bro. Some people get excited about a job just because it's make more money so they could buy new clothes, new Jordans, new car, buy a new house at 7% interest, you know. And it's like now you're like, yeah, I'm gonna use it to fund what I really want to do. That's a smart person right there, you know. So many people are stuck on the fact that everybody just goes to work just to pay their bills and to, you know, oh, I'm gonna get an extra $1,000 a week so I can, you know, go on vacation to Cancun or something like that, you know.
Right.
People got it all backwards, man. People got it all backwards. I don't know if we want to dive too deep into the rabbit hole. I know you said you had your own opinions about the healthcare industry, but kind of the opposite side, bro. What is your brand? So I know you're repping your brand. I saw it on your mug too, and I've known it for a little bit, but I don't think I've ever heard the whole story on like how that originated and like what its, you know, mission and vision is.
Yeah. So Velez Global. I just named it after myself. I was like, everyone else names their brand after themselves. So I'm gonna just roll with that. I couldn't think of anything else. But the Prey design, I don't know if you can see it clear on my mug.
Yeah.
Better? Okay. So this is how it started because someone asked me and I couldn't remember. And I'm like, here's what happened. I just started figuring out that all these different brands were using their money to just fund different things that I didn't necessarily agree with. And I'm like, man, there's no like legitimate clothing brand out there that's like, they're doing good with their money. At least I don't know. I mean, you hear a lot of stuff on the media, but like, I don't know what to believe anymore. If I'm not talking in person or we're not sitting down, I can't. It's hard for me to read you, basically. That goes into the whole discernment thing. But anyways, Velez Global, I believe it started, we're already in 2022. So I think it was 2021 in the beginning, in January. I started the brand, and my mission statement for myself really is to make a long-lasting positive impact on my city, my country, and the world. That's kind of how I live. And everyone wants to impact the world. Everyone wants to do like go feed these people in all these other countries. And I'm not saying that's bad. But people want to do all these great things, and that's cool. But I feel like if you really want to make an impact, you have to start in your community. Like, how is it that you have, and I'm not coming at these people, but this is just how I talk. How is it that you have pastors, leaders, or people that run these massive organizations but your neighbors don't even know you.
Mm.
Like the people in your community don't even know who you are.
Mm.
Like they don't, like you just walk right past them, but you're this great person who does all these great things in all these other countries. But we're in America, and what are you doing? That's just me. That's my mindset. Like I always try to take care of my own people type thing. So anyways, I'm like, I need to create a design that I feel like people can rally around, because there's so many things out there that's causing division amongst people, whether you believe, all lives matter, Black lives matter, pro this, anti this, Republican, there's all these crazy things that all it is, it's a distraction, and it's causing division amongst families, churches, businesses, organizations. Like it's crazy, because I like mustard. Now people that don't like mustard, they want to kill me. It's like, bro, eat your freaking ketchup. I don't care. If you want to eat ketchup, eat ketchup. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why are you so mad because someone likes something different than you? I'm not saying you have to like what I like. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so the design was, since I want to impact the city, I'm like, I know with all this crazy stuff going on in our country, even Chicago alone, there's shootings, killings, all this crazy stuff. What do people always look for when something bad happens? And I was like, prayer.
Yeah.
Whether you're a believer or not, whether you go to church, you don't, or however you live. I know people that literally do not go to church at all, or they don't have any sort of system. They just know that when something crazy happens, they call me and ask me for prayer. I see it all the time, even other people. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just create the design. So I had a design in my head, reached out to one of my friends. I told her exactly what I wanted. I said, I want the skyline. I wanted to say pray with the flag as a backdrop. And she made it. And then I do it on some shirts, some different things, sold it, went crazy. But, I had a couple hiccups along the way. And right now I'm in the phase of just kind of getting stuff back out there and stuff like that. And what I do is I take a percentage of my profit and I donate it to other organizations. So like I took some of it and helped with the homeless outreach in the city. And then I took another, whatever, $100 and gave it to an outreach organization out in Phoenix. My friends from Chicago, they all went out there and they started helping out low-income families, immigrant families and stuff like that, single moms, get them groceries, get them like toiletries and stuff like that. And so I saw what they were doing. I sent some money there, I sent it through the business. And so I just want to be able to, like I said, I've always wanted to help people only because I came from like literally nothing. Like we were homeless, we live in abandoned houses. And that's only because my parents, they were just a stereotypical, from the humble park. They're on drugs, gangs, all this crazy stuff. Like statistically, I shouldn't even be where I'm at today, to be honest with you. But I've been blessed. I had doors open for me, and I was just wise enough to take advantage of the opportunities that was presented to me. And so I want to be able to help other people, but not only help them, like educate them too, right? Because you can give someone money and give them food and stuff, but if you're not educating them, then you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life. And so my friends out in Arizona, they're actually educating people on how to handle their finances better. So I could buy into that, right? They have like a budget program, kind of lines up with some Dave Ramsey stuff and stuff like that. And they not only help them with their finances, but they help them how to manage it better, like live below your means. If you make extra $50, don't go buy something, save it or use it to knock out your debt and different things like that. Things that I learned through business opportunities, but I know a lot of people don't know that stuff. Yeah. And so I want to be able to fund stuff like that. But, you need money. At the end of the day, money's a tool. It's a resource. I don't want to make a whole bunch of money just to have a whole bunch of money. I want to make the money and use it to help people, live a better life. Enhance the life of people is really what I'm trying to do.
I freaking love that, dude. I love your mission. I love how your community and local focused, and you understand that principle. I think we talk about a lot on this podcast of teaching people how to fish, not just giving them a fish. Because you give them a fish to eat for a day, but you teach someone how to fish they can eat forever. Where can people find your stuff, man? You got a website? You got a merch store?
Yeah, it needs to be updated, but I have the website is up. Like it's dvelezglobal.com.
Nice. I'm gonna put it somewhere. I'm not sure how it works, but I'm gonna
right
put
here,
it somewhere.
however you guys do it, right?
Here, right there. one of those. Yeah. No, yeah, that'll be dope, man. And that's good, dude. I think it's so important because a lot of people fake that, and it sounds like the way that you speak about it is very genuine. A lot of people just fake giving back because they know that it's publicly
Marketable.
recognized. Yeah.
Right, write-offs and
Marketable.
all that marketing.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you seem to be doing it because you actually want to do it, not because you should do it. There we go. That's good because you want to do it, not because you should do it.
Right.
And from what I heard too, it's like you've been there, and it's like when someone like when you've been through shitty situations, you come from shitty situations, it's you can either look at it as like it's a deficit and it's why I can't, or it's the reason why I must and why you give it back. Like when you're being able to prosper through it and go through challenges, you tell other people like, hey, I was in that exact same situation. These are things that I did and I've learned and I've gotten me through that. And that's for real change, man. That's real impact. That's what we're about to do. And I love this conversation, man. It's been awesome to connect with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good, bro. I like how, you know, we haven't really even talked in like a minute, but it's cool
That's
that
crazy,
like
right?
yeah, it's cool because the consistency in mind development allows people to maintain relationships even though you haven't been connected for a while.
Right.
Like you can not talk to somebody for months, but because you guys continue to develop mentally, like you, bro, like you and I, all three of us here, you guys don't even know each other, and it's like there is like a certain sense of connection vibrationally because we're all just pushing to that next thing spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. Like it's a really cool thing to experience. I was talking to one of my boys, Adrian, yesterday about this. He's like, dude, I have a hard time kicking it with people now. He's like, I was kicking it with my cousin and his girl was like judging me, and like I can't really hang out with too many people anymore because I can't have a conversation with them
Oh my God.
because they look at me all weird. Like they look at me like they're judging me because I think differently than everybody else. Like I ask them hard questions and I question their own thoughts, and they get mad because they think that it's like I don't know,
People
like
victimize
a
themselves. I think
yes.
let me jump in. It's like they victimize themselves, and when you ask them the hard questions, they take it as like you're coming as superior to them. They take it as like you're challenging them in their world, and they're not realizing like you're trying to help them. Maybe like look at things from a different perspective, not like you're saying that you're less than or inferior because you think that way. But yeah, dude, I think the thing that unites us all in here is that vision, the vision of actually wanting to provide value because we got
Yeah.
provided value and it helped us tremendously. So it's like of course we're gonna pass it along. But some people don't take it well, bro. Some people don't appreciate it.
Dude, most people I would say though.
People, what I learned because I'm in the same situation. Especially, I've been trying to like reconnect with family and go to different get-togethers, and my max there is like an hour. I'm just there because to show face, to connect a little bit. But what I realize is people don't know why they believe what they believe. So when you
Yeah.
question it and you say, "Oh, why did what makes you think that?" Like, "Oh, what?" It's like, "How dare you ask me why I believe what I believe?" It's like, "Well, maybe I don't understand it, and I might believe the same thing. I want to know, what are your reasons behind it, or why do you do this?" It's like people just do whatever everyone else is doing. It's like, oh, well, everyone likes this, so I'm gonna go get this, and everyone does it. It's like I think that that's the part that bothers people is that they really don't know why they do what they do, or
Yeah.
they have their specific preferences. Oh, the TV told me to do it, so I'm gonna do it. It's like what?
Yeah, you're not for like the whole Ukraine thing. Like, dude, what?
Right.
We're all in this right now. Why aren't you?
You didn't post about your opinions on abortion, bro? What?
Oh my gosh, dude, I already know.
You didn't change your profile picture to a rainbow flag in June? Like, bro, what?
Like, bro, I listen. I could go down this. I can really go down this. All I'm saying is this: I'm cool with everybody. I don't care how you think, bro. I don't need to make a statement about anything. I love everyone the same. If me and you are chilling and you think something's totally different, that's cool. I don't care. Like you guys said, it's all a mindset. It's like how we think about stuff. I got friends that live totally different lifestyles than I do. Right? Even us too, we probably have certain things that are not exactly the same, right? We might connect on some things, but I got friends and stuff that live different lifestyles, but we still chill, we still hang out and stuff like that. I feel like if you're generally just a good person, I'm cool with you. I
Yeah.
don't care if you're an officer or you're gay or if you're Democrat or Republican or you believe Black Lives Matter, all that stuff means nothing to me. Not to diminish it, but it doesn't affect how I view you as a human being.
Preach.
I feel like people forget that we're all humans and we're all imperfect and we all generally want the same things. We just have a different way of doing it. And so everyone's approach is going to be different. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's
I
the
feel like
bar.
people forget that, bro. They just
For
get
sure.
up in, oh, well, you wear white shirts and I wear gray shirts, so we can't be friends. Like,
It's like you said before, it's like the world has become very polarized, you know. People are always so like they really find a lot of passion behind their beliefs of being for a certain political movement, you know, and being behind a certain thing or having certain beliefs. But I think, yeah, like, it's so important to, like, I want to reiterate it. It's like having that tolerance of, like, dude, everyone's different. Everyone's gonna have a different belief than me. Because you believe differently than me doesn't mean we can't connect, doesn't mean we can't relate, doesn't mean we can't learn from each other, find value in my experience. I can find value in your experience. So I think it's like having both that tolerance for others, but then circling back to what we were saying about not just following the crowd and actually understanding where your own belief systems come from and actually creating your own beliefs. You know, that's really important too, because you don't want to be sucked with the wind of the populist idea of movement. You know, it's like having your own morals and principles that you are founded upon is like so key, but also realizing that not everybody's going to have the same principles and beliefs that you do and being tolerant of that.
Yeah, it's important to have empathy or sympathy, one of the two. Empathy, right?
Well,
empathy.
yeah, sympathy is when you've been in the same situation, like you can actually feel like you know, right? And then empathy is like, yeah, you haven't been in that situation, so you won't actually understand, but still having the
But I understand though what you're saying, right?
right.
So sympathy. How do you guys think somebody like, for example, right, family that gets offended or something like that they can start kind of questioning their own beliefs, you know? Like how did you get started in that, David? Like how did you get out of that bubble or out of that pathway of like not following everything that you've been told? Because most of it's a lie.
How did I get to the place where I don't believe it? Oh, if I understand correctly, this is what I was telling you about the whole staying with family for an hour thing. Because I need to be mentally like challenged or stimulated stuff. So for me, I look at the results in people's life. I look at the fruit on the tree. And my thing is, you can't give me advice on something that you suck at, for lack of better words. Nothing against my family. I love my family. They know I love them. But I'm not accepting advice on, financial stuff or whatever, right? Like, for example, my mom, she knows I love her. I'm probably not take financial advice from her because of the results. But spiritually speaking, when it comes to spiritual principles, you're my go-to, right? You have the fruit on the tree when it comes to prayer and different things like that, right? Like you have that. Just like people who have terrible relationships and they're trying to give you marriage advice. Like you're not even married. I'm trying to go talk to someone who's been married 10, 15, 20 years because they have the fruit on the tree. So when I started to just analyze not only my family, friends, whoever, I just need to see the results there, right? And nothing, my family has other good qualities that, that I can learn from, right? I got some cousins and stuff that they have that hustle mindset, bro. Like they're hustlers. They might do it different, right? Their approach might be different, but they still have that mindset. Like I'm going to go get that bag no matter what. Nothing's going to stop me. So I can have a conversation with some of my cousins on certain things like that. When it comes to other stuff, we're probably not going to talk about it. So I just pick and choose my conversations with who I'm talking to. Is how I've kind of just navigated through that, because I still believe family is important to me. I've lost a lot of family over the years. And so I had already made a decision that I was going to invest into my family. It was just going to be limited because there's things I'm trying to accomplish, but I don't want to be that cousin or that nephew or that brother that just kind of like just went MIA. And I don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just learning how to steer the conversation is what's helped me.
That's yeah, that's that sales skill right there, bro.
I think that, and I learned a lot of it there. I'm not gonna lie to you. You really learn how, like, a lot of that stuff I learned there for real.
Yeah, You really seller be sold, man. Seller be sold. That's it. That's the name of the game. What about you, Jordan, bro? Like, what do you feel like people need to do to kind of like question their, I know we've kind of briefly touched on it, but like, what do you think people need to start questioning first and foremost? I think, like to kind of throw my 2 cents on it before I let you answer. I think it's like the most common things that are talked about on a day-to-day basis, and how the subjects are constantly changing, whether going from like, all of a sudden we had this pandemic and all these deaths, and then gone. Now there's war, gone. Now it's like abortion, gone, and God knows what's going to be next. So it's like, to first is those things, not that those things aren't terrible and horrific to some people, and obviously can cause major emotional impacts on a lot of people if you're been affected by those things. But just like David said earlier, you can't control what you can't control. Like, you can't, don't focus on what you can't control. But I think it's easy to start with those things, and then follow the money. That's what I think. But what do you think, bro?
I think the questioning begins with just questioning who you are and what you want out of this life, you know? Like, because if you don't start there, you got to figure out yourself and like, what do you want out of this life? What kind of experience do you want to have? And then, like David said, you can simplify it and looking at, hey, like this person is having this sort of experience. I want that sort of experience. Maybe I should ask them for information and their beliefs and what they've got, how they got to that path. Hey, this person is having an experience. I don't want to have that experience. Therefore, their opinion to me, it's like I'm not going to hear it, but it's not going to sink in. It's like, so being able to, I think figuring out yourself first is the most important part, and like understanding what you want, what you desire out of life. And then, yeah, having that discernment. Like, I love how David put it with seeing if there's fruit on the tree. People are talking about what they're talking about, because everyone now has gotten the ability to voice their opinion and does through social media. And everyone thinks everyone wants to hear their opinion. And it's like, I think that's cool. Yeah, dude, voice your opinion. But there's a reason why people have gained influence in certain arenas, like social media and the internet, such as Joe Rogan, the inspiration for this podcast. And it's because he's onto something, bro. He's on the truth. He's real. And so like when you're realizing certain influences don't have that basis of truth, don't have those fruits on the tree, maybe you learn to listen to them a lot less, because you look at the people that everyone's doing the same thing and everyone's getting no results. That's where that questioning can start, where you start to realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing what everybody else is doing. Maybe this age-old knowledge or these things like money doesn't grow on trees, you got to work hard for money type things, like maybe that ain't true.
It's crazy, right? You start learning everything is a lie. But David, bro, before we wrap this up, bro, I got one question. I think is I wanted to get kind of your topics on, bro. Like, I know obviously you are always expressing your faith towards others, and the passion for what you're doing is rooted based off in faith. So how important to you and like to the world is faith to anything, like in business and relationships, in just this new, obviously your new gig that you're having, that you're getting, and anybody moving on to certain new chapters of their life. Like, how important is it to have that like foundation of whatever you believe in? Jordan and I have talked about this. We've done a whole episode on just like religion and God and kind of what that is. And we don't, I necessarily like, I'm a man of faith and I use the word God, but to me, God means something than what to other people is. Some people use universe, other people use whatever you might believe in, but like faith in itself, I think, is the core foundation to everything else, that whatever word you might believe in. So like how important do you think it is to everything in all aspects of life?
Faith? Okay. Well, I want to address this first off, because a lot of people, they mix the two, because you said something about God, religion stuff. I would say I am not a religious person. I'm more on relationships, because, I believe in Jesus Christ. And if you read the Bible, he literally was all about relationships. He got into it with the religious people in the church, which is crazy. Most people don't even know that. Most people don't even get into that stuff. It's like, if he's getting into it with the Pharisees and all these people, all this power and titles inside of the four walls or in the whatever it's called. I'm bad with names, palaces or whatever. And he's outside and going into the communities and reaching people. He's connecting and building relationships. Like his 12 disciples were people that traditionally doesn't look like a Pharisee or a scholar, the people who had it all together. So when I look at that, I'm like, people got it all twisted. I am so far from religion. I question everything about it. And so my faith is rooted in the actual Bible. Like whatever it says, I just choose to live by it. Am I perfect? No, I screw up all the time. But that's where I get the whole people are human concept and loving people for who they are, where they're at, because that's what Jesus did. One of his close homies was a freaking tax collector. They refer to those people as thieves.
Yeah.
He grabbed the thief and said, hey, I want you to be one of my main guys. In what world does that make sense? So I just want to address that first and say, I am big on relationship and I'm not big on religion. Because religion is you do this and don't question it. Just do it because everyone else is doing it. Well, screw that. I don't like that. Why do we have to, even simple stuff? I be questioning all this churchy lingo and people think it's crazy because they're like, but don't you go to church? And I do, but that doesn't mean I'm just a regular church goer. Everyone goes to church. Everyone is Christian, right? You hear artists and all these other people say it. But like I said in the beginning, is how do you live? Does your accountability, does your actions line up with what you talk about? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, my faith is just in the teachings of Jesus Christ. If he talked about it, that's where I'm at. The Bible talks about questioning what the pastor says, which most people don't. You hear a pastor give a good word and you're like, oh, that's great. That's truth. Well, the Bible says you're supposed to check that, whether you like it or you don't like it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't know that, bro.
There's pastors that are very charismatic and they say some stuff that's like, whoa, that made me feel good. But you should still check that because that might not be truth. You see what I'm saying? And then vice versa. If you didn't agree with it, maybe it's because you needed to hear that. You need to work on yourself in that. But again, you still have to check it with, assuming you believe in the Bible and Jesus Christ's teachings. Where I'm speaking more towards the people who call themselves Christians or whatever. Because a lot of times majority of Christians don't really read the Bible. And I know that because I grew up like this, but I never took it serious only to like the last handful of years. And I'm like, let me really read this thing. Right? Because I had gone through some crazy life circumstances. And I was like, man, my pastor always tells me this. Are you praying? Are you reading? Are you fasting? So 3 things about talking about. And it was always no or not really or kind of. So I was like, I'm going to just take this serious. And I just dove into it. And I started seeing all these things that didn't line up with what I saw in different churches and mainstream media and all this other stuff. So my bad, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. But I'm really passionate when it comes to like people referring to like religion, spirituality, and all this other stuff. I'm not into it.
It's good, man. It's good because I think a lot of people have a hard time clearing to find that for themselves. And so when they hear a perspective from somebody, it helps them clarify it for them. So it's always good when people are passionate about this because that's what helped me, bro. Somebody was so confident and stern in their beliefs that they implemented part of their beliefs into what I believe. And so it helps me align what I personally believe because I can pick and choose. Oh, that's got a point there. I can firmly hold that. But like this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about, like he's just talking out of that. So that's good.
Right.
Yeah, I love the tangent too, man. I think that's exactly what we're on this podcast to do, man. Bring out people who are passionate about their beliefs and sharing, man. So thank you.
I don't even know if I answered the question, but faith, I think is just a message of hope, right? Just an optimistic like approach is like, I know there's something greater on the other side of this challenge or this situation or circumstance. Because everyone needs to have faith to do anything, really. Whether you start a business or you're going to choose to implement certain habits or do different things, you're doing because you believe something's great's going to come out of this. Like I choose to believe in Jesus Christ because I know at the end of my life, I'm choosing to believe that there's a heaven and it's there for me because I'm choosing to do this. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how like in business, the result is more options, more income, more time, right? So you're doing the things you're doing now because you have faith in that this is going to happen because of it. So whether people are religious or not, if you're a religious person, go crazy, have fun. I just I think someone who's religious doesn't question anything. You just take it for what it is. Like you have to stay in line and you have to color within the lines and do whatever you're told and never question it. I was never like that in school, which makes sense. Because today I'm like, I wasn't that guy. I didn't follow the traditional route.
Dude, I feel like you're so black and white, bro. Like you're just like, yeah, this is it. You know, it's like, but it's like a soft black and white. Some people are like, no, I'm right, you're wrong, you know, and you're like this, but also this, you know, it's like
I try to look
convicted, bro. You're
Yeah.
convicted in what you believe, which is like, that's important.
Yeah, no one can knock me off. Like I've gone through enough situations where I'm like, this is truth to me. But I'm also not mad if you don't agree with it. Like I always look at both perspectives because a lot of people who say they're Christian, and I don't even say I'm Christian, that's the crazy part. I literally tell people when they ask me, I joke around and be like, what do you mean by that first off? Because the word Christian, I don't know what it means anymore. Now, if you're saying, do I believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ? Yes. Right, relationships. It's like you have to break down any word or any term people use now because it's so messed up now. So my thing is, most Christians or believers, they're only speaking to one crowd. Jesus didn't do that. He spoke to the masses. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I talk to people, I look at it from someone who maybe actually reads the word and goes to church and says these things. But I'm also thinking about the guy who's there for the first time, or he was hurt by Christians, or he was hurt by church people, or the guy who's like, I don't know about this. I'm thinking about that person, right? We're recording this thing. I'm thinking about the person who'll watch this and be like, all right, let me see what these guys are up to. Oh, look, another Christian. It's like, I don't want to fall in that category or in that box. Like, oh, they're all like this. Because we're not. But I can't say that I am a Christian without explaining what that means to me or figuring out what it means to you. Because just because I'm a believer in Jesus Christ doesn't mean I'm anti this or pro this.
Yeah. Dude, that's a bar, bro. That's important. Yeah. I think is kind of what, remember, I don't know if you remember, Jordan, when we did our episode on like religion and stuff, I talked about this too. I was like, I wouldn't really consider myself Christian, but like, I do believe in a lot of those principles. And I think that makes sense what you just said, bro. It's like the principles of, or at least the teachings of Jesus Christ in the Bible, dude, it makes sense. You know, like Tim gave me this bracelet and you might know, but it's got WWJD on it. It stands for what would Jesus do? And Tim gave it to me, right? And he's just like, yeah, just put this on and just a reminder, like, and he's like, put it on your right wrist. What do you do with your right wrist? What do you do with your right hand? Well, you do a lot of things with your right hand, you know, like you probably commit a lot of sins with your right hand, you know. It's like it just causes you to like think about, you know, all of those principles and all of those things that it's not necessarily a religious thing to do, but it's more of a kind of like a mindset, you know, more or less what we kind of started the conversation talking about, bro. So I like that, dude. I like that you're so stern about these beliefs and so convicted. I think that's the right word to use, bro. It's healthy to have these things because people don't know what the hell they believe, you know?
Dude, don't even get started on that, bro. Hey, there's an identity crisis in the world for sure. And like having a strong identity and having actually strong convictions of why you believe you are the way you are instead of being so damn confused about it and so easily swayed. Yeah, you know, it's refreshing, definitely super refreshing, David, to hear someone who has a firm grasp on their identity and can explain why.
Yeah.
You know what? Important. That's probably why I was able to work at Endurance for a while. Because I was the only one like me.
Yeah.
And everyone knows my belief, but I never judged anyone for the way they lived or stuff that they did. I was just like, hey, you do you, I'm gonna do me. As long as you're not trying to push your stuff on me, we're cool. I'm not gonna try to be one of those Bible thumpers either.
And that's another topic too, right there, is like being actually confirmed and convicted in your identity means you don't have to defend it when somebody else is presented a different one, like someone else presents you a different idea or a different thing. Because that's that thing too, is like kind of shows a sign of weakness when you feel challenged by someone who has a different belief system, you feel the need to explain yourself and you feel the need to defend your identity and defend your beliefs. It just shows me that you don't really actually believe that. You know, you're not actually convicted in it because you don't see, if you are certainly rooted in your identity and who you are and what you believe, you don't see other people who believe something different as a threat. There's no need to defend yourself.
Yeah, and it shows weakness in your personality, you know. And
Yeah,
it
it's
and then it
the
goes
non-acceptance.
circles back to what David was talking about in the beginning, right? One of the personality traits is trust. It reduces trust. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you
Right.
don't know who you are and you're easily swayed and persuaded, it reduces your trust. It's like, oh well, I can convince him to do one thing right now, but then somebody else is going to come in with a better or different idea, and they're going to lean more this way. They're going to turn around and stab me in the back or something like that. And
Yeah, it's good.
that's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like, do you trust yourself?
Mm.
Oh,
Because like that's where it starts. If you don't trust yourself, then how the hell can you trust anybody else?
Oh, that's good. That's like what people like, love yourself. You can love people. It's the same thing. You don't trust yourself, but you got some major work to do.
a
Yeah.
lot of people don't trust themselves, bro. You know how many people hate being alone?
Bro, it's crazy. That's the issue people are facing now,
Yeah.
especially
It's
since 2020. People are nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
anxiety. The
And so
anxiety is through the roof.
I love these kind of conversations too, because I don't think these are the conversations that people have, and like those kind of questions. That's exactly why I want to have this podcast, is like to raise that conversation, to create that thought of like, man, do I really trust myself? Yeah, no, I do. It's like, or you look at shit, I don't. I do have work to do. All right, like, what is the work I need to do? So for that person that maybe that question stung a little bit, like, what's some of your best personal development? Like, what are you guys' favorite influences and mentors for building that trust in yourself?
you want to go
Go
Armando,
ahead.
or you want me to go?
You go first, bro. You're the guest.
Oh, okay, cool. For me, like I said earlier, reading the Bible, that's for me. I'm big on that. I couldn't say that a few years ago, but I'm definitely big on reading the Word, because it helps me identify where I'm at. But also, I have two go-to guys that I go to about stuff. Whether you want to call it mentor, big brother, coach, whatever. But I have a business coach and a pastor that I go to on certain things, and I'm extremely transparent with them, which a lot of people can't say. A lot of people aren't transparent. And the reason I've learned to be like that is because if I'm gonna take advice from someone that has fruit on a tree and is an example of how I want to live, I can't give half of the information because what happens is my coaching is gonna be incorrect no matter what.
Mhm.
And a lot of people aren't transparent with their coach or their mentor or their pastor, their brother. And so when they get the advice from them, then they follow through with that advice and it never works out. Then they want to get pissed off at the pastor or at their business coach and said, hey, you told me to do this and it didn't work. Well, you freaking goofy. You didn't give them all the details. You gave half the information. So you're not going to get the correct coaching.
So you
And
got
so,
half the answer.
right, you're a freaking clown. You didn't give the whole story. You didn't say all these other details because you're embarrassed or you don't want nobody to know or you're ashamed and all this stupid, prideful crap, basically, because you're all focused on yourself. But if you're trying to get ahead, you got to be transparent. So for me, to help build trust and like to trust me and to become a better version, I just had to learn to be transparent with them. So even the advice that they do give me, I still run it against the word because for me, that's my foundation. So Bible, I have two guys that I go to about everything. Then I just have personal development books and different books that I read and study and stuff like that, which ironically, it really lines up with a lot of principles in the Bible. Armando said it earlier. It's crazy. A lot of success principles, I find it in Proverbs, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
Like finances, business, relationships, loving people. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, those are like my go-to things that I do.
Yeah. I've been studying Think and Grow Rich, and also I don't read the Bible every day, but I do my best to pick up the Bible, a couple times a week and, spend 10, 15 minutes reading it. And a lot of things do line up to that. So for me, bro, I would say Jim Rohn for sure. He was the first introduction to me for personal development. And like, I really, really it just hits home every time. It's so simple. It's so enthusiastic. It's just so deep that every time it hits different, because the principles are so easy and so simple that it can always be evolved. Those same principles can always take another level up. Um, I don't have necessarily people, which is something that I'm attracting into my life now. Jordan obviously is, one of my best friends. I know I can go to him for a lot of things, however, I don't have somebody that, like a pastor, that I'm like 1000% transparent to, because I always have that reserve, something that I'm working on personally. So, yeah, God, shout out to God, bro. Like, one thing that for me, I've been really like intensively doing is praying, bro. And like, it's crazy, not crazy, amazing to say this, is that, like, bro, you pray either in meditation or when I wake up, when I go to bed, and like the things that I ask for, literally, it's outstanding how it works, right? The Bible says, ask and it is given, right? It's legit how it works. And so so it's been astonishing to just see that. Sometimes it's not immediate, sometimes it just happens so fast. It's like, what, I was just thinking about that, and it's just like, it's just here now. Sometimes it's not like that, but super grateful for those things. But yeah, I would say obviously books, personal development books, Jim Rohn, and then shout out God.
Jim Rohn is solid, bro. I used to play videos like during my workday, just play the YouTube, have it on the background. Eric Thomas.
Me too.
I used to listen to him working out, or like when I runs and stuff, like when I was running actively. His energy is just, dude, people are enthusiastic or they have high energy. Well, I can listen to those people all day. Like, if you're just enthusiastic, that's such a game changer. You could say the most simplest thing, but when you say with like energy and passion, it's like groundbreaking information. It's the same thing the last guy said, but this guy said and he believed it, and he just like brought the energy with it. Like, yeah, there is
delivery,
right? Like that water. It's like, what? It's like a most simplest concept, and it's like, yeah, water is food. It's like,
what about you, Jordan?
Honestly, yeah, I do like I've developed a pretty good routine for myself in terms of listening to personal development, reading books, getting mentorship through the IM Academy. Um, and I've been blessed to have a lot of people who are further ahead in life, and I'm able to just even text, on the casual, and just ask questions, including the trade house. Shout out to Jordan Morgan. He's been a huge help for me lately. And then also I got to throw in there like my partner, Angie. Having a good partner where she's like I have the best relationship with her that I have with anybody in the world. Like, I feel like I'm really able to be myself and be fully transparent with her. And it's not even like, yes, she mentors me, but at the same time, we're at like a level of equals where it's like we're growing together. So we can like be fully transparent with our struggles together, and we can reassure each other. And like that has helped me become so confident in myself and who I am. And what I bring to the table is having that strong relationship with my girlfriend, man. Like, I'm so grateful for that. So she's a huge help, like a huge help to me.
Dude, that's so important. There's a whole chapter on the mastermind and Think and Grow Rich, bro, and it talks about like you're the woman that you choose to pick can either make or break you. And the fact that he says if you choose the wrong woman to marry, like she'll drain your life. It's 100% true, bro. So that's awesome. Sounds like the harmony between you two, bro, is like just increasing, which is so crazy, bro. Because I'm a spectator, so it's
Yeah, I know
amazing.
you know her
It's
really well.
amazing to watch, bro, like the development of that. And honestly, bro, that's goals, because it wasn't always like that, and now it's
No, definitely
glowing
not.
and blossoming into, you know, every rose has its thorn, bro. But at the end of the day, you're not looking at the thorns, you're looking at the beautiful rose. So David, bro, much appreciate you, bro, for coming on here, bro. I truly, truly enjoyed this conversation, man. It's good to hear that people like it's not just the people within like our circle, and what Jordan and I are used to, like the influence and kind of the people that are in our industry, not just necessarily we're marketing, but as well as like the finance and the markets and stuff like that. But people outside of that are have the same principles, and it's good and reassuring to know that we're not always in connection, bro, but we're always mentally, vibrating at the same frequency. So, bro, so where can people find you on social media?
yeah, D'Anthony Velez. That's two E, so Dee Anthony Velez on Instagram, mainly on there. I got Facebook. but Instagram is like the go-to for a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's where people can find me. And like I said earlier, my website for my business is thevelezglobal.com. The letter D, Velez Global. Same thing for my Instagram page for that one as well. So just want to say I'm grateful for the opportunity. I appreciate you hitting me up. I know we trying to schedule this for a while, but I'm glad it worked out, and I'm glad that we're able to kind of jump on here. Great conversation, bro. Like, this is so encouraging. It's uplifting, reminding me a lot of stuff on just things that, like, it's just cool to see other people having the same mindset, and just, like I said earlier, we all overall want the same thing. We just have a different way of doing it. And I think that's totally fine. And so it's cool to see your growth and your development, and you just kind of diving into the spiritual side as well. That encourages me, especially since we first met. I don't think you were anywhere on that level. I don't remember too much, but it's cool to see that, because a lot of times people try to force stuff on people, but I think if you're just an example in everything you do, you start to see results like that happen. Whether you played a role in it or not, it's cool to see. So, and Jordan, nice meeting you, bro. Good energy, good conversation. I like a lot of the stuff that you were saying. It's cool to meet new people like this. I think it's dope. I think it's encouraging, like I said earlier, and I'm excited to see where our lives will be in the next 5-10 years, and see the impact that we make in business, in relationships, communities, the city, the world, really. So I'm excited to see where we're at in 5-10 years.
Absolutely, David. It was a pleasure to get to know you over this hour. It was a pleasure just to hear what you're doing. I'm really looking forward to following your brand and your business and what you're able to do and achieve in the community. I know like big things are coming out of that. So it was a pleasure, man.
For sure.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Much appreciated. We will do next episode of Public Comments.